Ma'am, you can start now.
Yeah. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. So this is Aysha. I'm the faculty for and the instructor for the course English Literature for Competitive Exams. I'm happy to see you here. I hope you're submitting your assignments on time. One thing before I start responding to your questions is that because this is the question I always seem to get, so I will respond to it now, and I will respond to it before we wind up the session as well. So one thing that you should remember about the course or make a note of it is that the end semester and the assignments for this course are all MCQ types. There is no, you're not going to have any essay type questions for the end semester or any of the assignments. And assignments, once you receive, you are expected to submit them on time. NPTEL wouldn't entertain any request for extension or resubmission, etc. Once you submit it, that's the end. Once you and in case you don't submit an assignment for any reason, however legitimate your problem may be, but NPTEL is not going to accept late submission because NPTEL operates and according to certain rules and procedures. So we cannot interfere with that. So best practice is always to submit assignments on time and take the end semester as per the schedule. Okay, so please stick to these conditions, and I think you will be okay. And again, the exam will be, the format for the exam is MCQ. It is not going to be any essay type or even short answer question answer type. Okay. Now, with that, I will start responding to your various questions. You can continue typing your questions. My video is not working, so you won't be able to see me, but I will be more than happy to respond to your questions. So Purvi Gupta is asking, what is the benefit of this course? Benefit is it is meant for students of English literature who are basically interested in the course History of English Language and Literature. Okay, most universities in India have this course. How does History of English Language and Literature course help anyone? It helps because especially those who are interested in appearing for JRF exam, which is UGC NET exam. So it's for JRF and UGC and NET and SET kind of exam for English literature. So please remember that it is meant for those who are students of English literature and who need to have some practice of appearing for MCQ type. So JRF is heavily dominated by MCQ and SET exam also. And GRE, that is the American exam, which is conducted for those who have a degree in English literature and who want to pursue higher degree in any American university at advanced level. So this course is beneficial to those people who want to appear for some competitive exam, but with English literature as their major. So it is not meant for everyone, people who want to improve their communication skills or their grammar, etc. The course is not designed for those people. The course is designed only for those who are going to take competitive level kind of exams, particularly NET, JRF, and GRE. Okay. Now, another question is how to score good marks in English literature. What are the key points to enhance your answer writing in exams? It all depends. That I would like to respond to this student. This is a very abstract and general kind of a question. How to get better marks in English literature? I mean, what exam are you taking? First, tell me that. Is it, are you talking of, are you doing MA in English literature somewhere? Are you appearing for set exam somewhere? Are you appearing for JRF net exam somewhere? Then you have to ask me how to improve your marks. Since you have asked me in a very general way, I will respond to you in a general way that in English literature, one for a student, one needs to know how you organize your answer. I mean, teachers, your people who are looking at your answers, they need to understand how well, or they don't need to see how well you organize your answers, right? Uh, how well you are able to put forward an argument, and if what's the question. For example, if the question is about let's say American fiction of of the lost generation, who are those people, Hemingway and Fitzgerald? Okay, so if there is a question on who were the writers of the lost generation period, and assess their importance or significance in the American literature canon. You should be able to talk about who were the important writers of the lost generation, why were they called the lost generation writers, and then discuss some of their major and most influential works with some confidence and in some detail. Okay, sometimes it is also a good idea to refer to some theories or some critics who have written on them. So it all depends on which exam you're taking, how your teachers are teaching you English literature, and what are their expectations. Yeah, since you asked me a very general question, I am answering in a very general way. I need to know which exam you're taking. Then you're talking what are the important topics or chapters through which we can crack net exam. What are the benefits and job opportunities for an English literature student in India and abroad? See, if you it all depends on what are your ambitions. Some people want to get into teaching at school level, which is very nice, and you have to prepare yourself accordingly. So since you're asking me about career opportunities with English literature, people also get into journalism. Yeah, there are so many journalists who have a basic degree in literature, and then they go on to do masters in media and journalism, etc. So you can be a teacher, you can be a journalist, you can go get into ad world, advertising world, if you have a flair for the language. Okay, you can be a blogger, you can be a writer, those are the things. And if you are more academically inclined, then you can do your PhD, because at college and university level, if you want to do if you want to teach, then you need a PhD, and after that your degree might be of use to you. So I hope I have responded to your question. Your another question is, what are the key points to enhance your answer writing in exams? What are the important topics or chapters through which we can crack net exam? I have given, in fact, when you look at, when you go through my lectures, in all the videos, all whatever I have, whatever I'm talking about, whatever topics and areas I have covered, they are all important from the exam point of view. So you can see, I'm not saying that just by attending this NPTEL course, English language for English literature for competitive exams, you will be able to, it's a guarantee that you will be able to crack your NET or JRF. This is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you have been reading consistently, if you have been practicing consistently, and if you have a good amount of, already you have done a good amount of reading for the exam, then this course will help you. This is a, you can use this course as a complement to your already existing readings and knowledge. So if you already know a lot and then you go through these lectures can help you like revise for the exam that you are going to appear for. I cannot guarantee that you won't study for the entire year and then you will watch the lectures and crack the exam. I won't be giving you these kinds of false hopes and making false promises. You have to be consistent in your readings, in your studies. And then after that, these lectures can be of great benefit to you, provided you have been doing your studies in a very consistent way. Satyapriya is asking, I want to get more English knowledge. Please read more. Please read more. Please watch English language news in the English language. Reading definitely helps. So as much reading in English as possible, if English is what you want to improve. There is Arvind who is asking, what should be the use of this course? Who is the post of Alas, who is post of or poet of, who is injured? For this question, you have given the answer, Andrew Marvel in module 3, isn't it? John Donne. Okay, is there a confusion here? Okay, don't worry. I will look into it. Okay. So if this is what your problem, this is what you want to ask, who has injured my, for this question, you have given the answer. Andrew Marvel, it should be John Donne. Let me look at it. Since you have raised this question, I will look at it and I will get back to you. Don't worry. All right. And then there is Umar Haider. I have missed first week assignment. Can you help me out? No, that's what I'm saying. I cannot help. You miss. You have to be consistent in, what to say, submission of your assignments. This question comes up every semester. And I have checked and rechecked with the NPTEL people several times, and I get the same response that no, once a student misses the submission of the assignment, we cannot do it. We cannot do anything about it. There is another question from Arvind. He's asking, I'm preparing for my NET. Where should I begin? Yeah, where should I begin? Is there any specific methods? Methods, I wouldn't know. That's what I'm saying. You have to be very consistent. You have to, one good way to get into the course is by going through a good standard textbook of history of English literature. According to me, one of the finest book in English, in history of English literature, is Linguist Kazania's History of English Literature. I think I mentioned that in the course also, in my lectures also. So that's the way to begin with. When I appeared for my JRF a long time ago, so I studied the book back to back and a couple of times. So it back to back. I mean, no one, I never thought that, I will do only certain important topics and certain important topics and some key topics. That's not the approach I took. I wanted to have a very in-depth understanding of history of English literature. So I went through the entire book a couple of times, and it helped a lot. Islam Malik is asking what will be the exam date. I'm not too sure. But NPTEL is very good with announcements, and please watching the space, and they will be announcing the exam date. Yeah. Then Mohsin Zaidi wants to know, kindly provide the names of important authors and their works in cultural studies. This is not a course in cultural studies. So if you would want to ask me exactly what you want to do for literature and competitive exams, I can answer your answer based on that question. But I really don't want to get into some area that is not the focus of today's discussion. So culture studies and all, who are the authors, what are the books? For that you will have to perhaps look it up, maybe Google them, and you will get some good answers, I'm sure. How can questions regarding English literature as optional UPSC? Talaba Khan. Questions regarding English literature as optional UPSC. I don't understand the question. Sumit Kumar, how can able to understand this entire class? I have never taken such kind of class, but then it is meant for those who are appearing for a competitive exams with literature. So if you don't know literature, then you have to ask yourself about, this course is useful for those who have literature as their background and who want to pursue higher education, who want to crack some competitive exams. If you are not a student of literature and if you are not preparing for any competitive exams in literature, then and if you have just joined it for the sake of learning something, then you will have to work very hard here, because you don't have it's like, let's assume somebody with a literature background sitting in a class of advanced data science or something. Okay, these kinds of people will really struggle with that. So same is the case here. If you don't have a background in English literature, then it's going to be, you'll have to put in some extra effort to understand this course. Then there is Sadaf Yusuf regarding slogan on no taxation. No taxation without representation. Okay, is that what you're saying? Roshan Johri, what is the correct way to read a large text, something like Canterbury Tale? Oh, okay. Or a novel for computer without spending too much time, yet being able to yeah. Okay, see, in most universities, I don't think that anyone is teaching Canterbury Tales but Paradise Lost is a very popular text. I mean, you can't, see, Canterbury Tales are also taught, and some of the most popular topics. So, Milton's Paradise Lost, the best way, because you have to read the text at least once, because you never know unless and until you have gone through the text. And if the question comes like, identify the lines from which, who speaks the following line, or identify the text from which these following sentences are taken. You have to go through, because see, Paradise Lost and Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, they're so important, such important texts that we cannot imagine literature without them. So definitely, what is the way without investing too much time? I really don't know, because I think in literature, you have to invest a lot of time. That's all I can say. Any book list for the course? Yes. Best book, Linguis Kazania, History of English Language and Literature. Second book, I keep on mentioning, Literary Genres by M.H. Abrams. Okay, so Linguis Kazania's History and M.H. Abrams' Literary Genres. Two of the most reliable books. They never go out of fashion. And I mean, you can, if you want to score high mark, but you see, the catch is that Linguis Kazania's book is 1,000+ pages. Okay. You need to have that kind of patience and that kind of interest to go through the entire book. Only if you have the interest, only then you will be able to go through the book, and only then you will be able to crack the exam. I won't be able to give you, suggestions on which university to go to. There is which university notes should one go for an NTA and net. So I wouldn't know which university notes one should go to. The next question is, after submitting the MCQs, it would be helpful if we get to know the right answers to which we answered wrong. Okay, this is a good feedback. I will ask NPTEL people if they would want to do such kind of an exercise. I can only ask them, but how, please remember, I cannot force them to do anything. So I will definitely ask them. I will make a note of your question. What's the difference between novel and play? Novel has lots of description. Okay, you have a perspective, you have a voice. Sometimes novels are written in first person, sometimes novels are written in second and third person. So that's the way novels are written. There is a lot of description. And where a play is concerned, play is a drama where you have lots of characters who engage in dialogues with each other. So drama is dialogue heavy, description of set, etc. Whereas novel is, is language in the sense, description heavy. So that because, and even the format is extreme, the genres are extremely different. So there is no way you can, there is no way you can get confused. Okay, so M wants to know, how would you suggest one begin tackling the syllabus for JRF net regarding drama, fiction, poetry? That's what I'm saying. Literary Genres by M.H. Abrams, that's the best book. And History of English Literature by Linguis Kazania. Those are the best books. Tried and tested, they never fail. Yeah, some tips and books for SET exam. Yes, the way I have seen very good students cracking SET is what? Which exam is SET? SAT. Can you just give me some? Are you asking for that American SET exam? A standardized test? Scholastic aptitude test. Can you write? Gayatri Naidu, can you respond to that? My question. Are you asking for SET exam? That is the American entrance exam. While you say, while you write your response, I will keep on answering other questions. So Gayatri Naidu, you can ask, please make it very clear what do you mean by SET exam? Are you talking about the entrance to American universities? How to register in NPTEL? Okay, I don't know how to register for an NPTEL. For that, you will have to write to the NPTEL office, please. Ashmita wants to know competitive exams. So I'm spending major time to prepare competitive exam. Could you help me to learn how to prepare for exams and what are the subjects? But which I would like to know which kind of competitive exams. Ashmita, I want to know what competitive exam, because if it has got something to do with literature, I can give you advice. But I wouldn't know how to crack, for civil services and UPSC. Okay, Javed wants to know, can you, oh yeah, Javed, these things have been done, but it is too niche in the sense that just not possible. So there are some courses I have seen somewhere, the Victorian novel and the romantic poetry, these kinds of courses do exist. Okay. However, I have a course called contemporary literature. But when I was doing contemporary literature, I wasn't exactly thinking of NET and JRF kind of exams. Okay, the contemporary literature course I wanted to do because I felt that there is a need for this kind of a course, because most people aren't aware of world literature that I wanted to talk about. Not aware in the sense that there are universities which do not include those texts. Very good texts, for example, Albert Camus' The Fall, and 6 Degrees of Separation, that's a play by John Guare, and a couple of poems by Maya Angelou. So those were the things that I wanted to do, and also Thomas Topper's plays, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. Those kinds of, generally we don't find those things discussed in most of our conventional MAs. So I did have a course called Contemporary Literature. By contemporary, I meant most of these works were like, let's say, 1960s and majorly 1970s and 80s onwards. So that was my definition of contemporary. Of course, things have changed a lot since then. But I understand what you're saying. Exclusive courses depending on ages, romantic and all that. But I will tell you what, there are other courses in NPTEL, I think, which are designed the way you are asking for. So there are such courses. At the same time, YouTube is a wonderful resource to access. You just have to Google and look for courses on romantic poetry or Victorian literature or Elizabethan drama, and you will get a lot of informative material sources, so information. So that's what you should be doing. Do you have any advice? How house after graduation? Well, you see, the best way is to go to the website and submit your CV. And I think publishing houses, they want a certain kind of skills. So what they are looking for, each publishing house looks for certain kind of skill, and you should be able to give them what they need. So increase your skill set accordingly. Career in publications is a very satisfying, very rewarding. I'm not saying that people make a lot of money, but you get to meet interesting people, and you get to expand your horizons. So I'm very, I like careers in publishing field a lot, although it is very, very competitive. Too many people go for there, and then jobs are limited. So you have to just expand your skill set. You are also expected to be well versed in computers, and you should know little bit of technology. So whatever is the latest development, you should be able to know. I think these are the things that they need. And of course, good language skills, that's the most important thing. Which type of question? MCQ types of questions. You're asking me SSC banking. No, I'm sorry. It is not. You'll have to do my other course called English Language for Competitive Exams, and in that course, I talk about banking and PO and those kinds of exams. But this is exclusively for those who have a literature degree and who are going to take literature based competitive exams. Yeah, so to answer your question, SSC banking, etc. No, or verbal ability. No, this is not meant to develop your verbal ability. Higher secondary schools with no fluency command over English, that's okay. I mean, as long as teachers are teaching well and they are able to communicate with their students, we do not have to discuss the process of recruitment and why somebody in English doesn't have good English abilities themselves. So this is a larger question. This is not really the forum for this. Ma'am, I'm studying for an MA English. After the finish MA, I would like to join the US university to study. Okay, there is a question. Please, can you explain more about? So after MA, what do you want to do in a US university? I'm just assuming what? Do you want to do PhD? Okay, if you want to do PhD, then you will have to start looking up the websites of select universities and see if it matches your budget, if it matches your interest. The faculty are, do you want to do another MA? Do you want to do a PhD? And what kinds of MAs do they offer? And what kinds of programs do they offer? All those things are important. So you have to look up. It takes a lot of time. So perhaps some member of your family can help you, or nowadays I know that there are professional agencies also that help people to decide which university they should go to depending on their interest and aptitude. So please plan well. It requires a lot of planning. There are higher second, what's your take in it? Okay. Thanks a lot. Okay, thank you, Yogesh. Ma'am, I'm preparing for JRF Net. Could you explain about it? Yeah, so JRF Net is quite a competitive kind of exam. As I was telling you, that it won't happen overnight. Please understand this thing. It will require complete dedication and devotion to literature for at least 1 year, only through the perspective, only with the mindset that you're going to crack the exam. So apart from your regular studies, for example, if you're doing your MA in English literature right now, apart from that, you'll have to put aside a lot of time to go through the history of English language, English literature books, and also the book that I keep mentioning, M.H. Abrams' literary genres. Okay, so only if you know, if you are thoroughly invested in planning and cracking the exam, only then you will be able to do so. This is the tip that I can give you. And JRF Net is important. Net exam, JRF exam, they are important because if you crack them, then you get an extra brownie point when you apply for getting PhDs for a PhD program in Indian universities. I want net exam materials. Yes, my course is very much designed for those who want to crack net exams. So it's a net exam material. And again, as I was telling you, History of English Language and Literature by Linguist Kazamia and M.H. Abrams, Literary Genres. Question is NPTEL certification exam. How does it work? See, I have done a couple of certification exams right now from some US During the COVID period, I did a couple of certificates from the US universities. I wouldn't ask the question that how would it help me? How would this certificate help me? I did it because I wanted to learn something new and add something to my CV. Okay, now the next question is this computer based? Yes, it is computer based and it will be offline. The time limit is 3 hours. Pattern is MCQ. Is it enough to focus only the lectures or do we need to work additionally? Yes, you need to work additionally, but lectures will give you a very good training and practice. Okay, so lectures will complement your basic understanding of literature. Best way to prepare for literature like GATE, NET, SET, PhD, like note making. Okay, like note making. Okay, yes, why not? Note making is, yeah, but you see, you have to read. What I have to insist on that people have to read consistently. See, if you say that I'm very good, and within a month I'll be able to crack JRF and NET, I don't think that is possible. You have to invest time in preparing. Then next question is, ma'am, for stories, is it necessary to read the original? No, I think it is important to read the original text. Yeah, American University entrance exam. No, I don't think this course of mine is not going to help you for cracking the SET exam. SET, that is scholastic aptitude test that you're talking about, it tests you for your verbal ability, that is, language, grammar, vocabulary, reading skills. My course is meant for those maybe more advanced level students who want to crack exams only in literature. Abhinaya, good evening, good evening. I would like to know which are those books I can focus on. With English, Indian literature. Yeah, Indian literature, I think I have mentioned in several of my lectures that best books on Indian literature. So I will respond to you again. Give me 1 minute. I'll have to reopen. I will reopen my, the reading list. Okay. See, there is this book which will never go out of fashion. I think it is KPS Iyengar's book. Yes. So, yeah, BKS Iyengar book. Yeah. It is called K.R. Srinivas Iyengar, Indian Writing in English. Indian Writing in English. That is one book. Okay, and after that, there are several contemporary books by contemporary authors who are writing on Indian literature. So how to crack exams, like if you mean by entrance exam for JNU and DU, I wouldn't know that. Okay, entrance exam for JNU and DU, because every year for entrance exam for these universities, even something like HCU or EFLU, so they keep changing their pattern very frequently. So I wouldn't claim that my lectures are going to help you in that. You know what? The best way is that for cracking these exams such as JNU, MA at JNU or MA program in DU, etc. I think the best way would be to refer to the books that you have done in your BA. Okay, because for MA, entrance to MA, whatever syllabus you have gone through during your undergraduation, that would be of great help. How can we get the previous year questions asked for this course? I have no idea. I think these questions keep coming back every year. I don't think that NPTEL has put up any kind of question bank kind of thing that they will students can access old question papers. So I wouldn't know. Does English literature students have the eligibility for becoming a librarian? Yes, I think so. Can you survive being a librarian? Yes, I think it's a wonderful, if you like books, it is a great job. And it is, I have seen very successful librarians in our institute. They read a lot, they are among books, they know a lot about books. You have to like books to become a librarian. And of course, library science is an entire different qualification and a skill by itself. And some people have to study or do a course, I think, in library sciences. So I think it requires much more than knowing and liking books. So you have to understand what the job requires and prepare yourself accordingly. Akriti wants to know how to improve our writing skills like essays and all for the UPSC. I think you should take my course, English language for competitive exams. I do a lot of discussion about these things. Then Priyam wants to know, I'm doing my master's in English and want to do my PhD. Okay, so the best way is that look up the website of the faculty members. If you are interested, and look, see who is matching your interest and approach the faculty. That is one way. And also look for the, on the website, there are certain guidelines given to people who are interested in applying for the PhD program, and follow the guidelines and see if you want to, join the department for your PhD. Major topics to be studied for GRE. GRE in English, I'm just assuming you mean GRE. What are the topics we have to focus on? NET exam. See, I cannot guarantee, it is not a short term, fast track kind of a thing. What topics? Every topic that has been discussed in the course, in the lectures, they are important. That it is important. And again, I will say, because see, NET and GRE kind of exams, they are so comprehensive, they are so expansive. Anything can come from any part of the a part of the world. And nowadays, you even have questions from world literature, okay, African writing, Russian literature. We are not even taught. Many of us are not even taught these things. So how would you crack? So it is a humongous task. And GRE in literature is very, very difficult. You have to prepare yourself accordingly. My course can just give you a little bit of direction and a pointer. Yogesh Sinha, any book list for your course? Yes, History of English Language and Literature by Linguist Kazamia, and also M.H. Abrams' Literary Genres. Priyam wants to know, currently, Priyam, I have already responded to you. Want to join? Yes. Processes, yeah, guidelines keep changing. They keep on updating the guidelines. So what you can do, Priyam, you can look up our website and you will find what are the questions, what are the guidelines, and what's the advice given for the next round of PhD admission. I understand that clearing NET or /JRF. NET/JRF is mandatory, and you have to have your MA. Yeah. I have focused on the book English Literature by William Long. Yeah, it's a good book. It's a good book. Yeah. Is this enough or anything else? Yes. I'll tell you what, I find Linguist Kazamia the most exhaustive and most detailed. So if you know that book very well, chances of success increases. That's all. I'm not saying Long's book is not good. I also like Long's book a lot. I also enjoy Compton and Compton Rickett book a lot. Okay, they are all very nice to read. Linguist Kazania is always my favorite, and M.H. Abrams' Literary Genres is another favorite of mine, because I feel that whatever is required to prepare for an exam of this magnitude, these books give you it the best and maximum possible way. Yeah, David Natchez is very good for JNU DU entrance. Yes, yes, yes. These are very good books as well. David Dyches has written, I think, volume one, volume two. I think you're talking about those books, history and all, history of English language and literature, part one, part two, part three. I think that is another excellent volume. You can, of course, you can go through that. I mention Linguist Kazania so often because that's what I used, and I have been recommending that book to my students. And I have noticed that people are always, nobody is ever disappointed after reading. They don't say that, oh, if only I had read another history book by another author. You read Linguist Kazania, you won't need to refer to any other history book, history of literature book. Remember, it is an MCQ type of exam. And remember, there won't be any essay type questions. And another important thing to remember is to submit your assignments on time, please. There is going to be no relaxation for anybody. Please remember that. It's not just you or anyone else. I have been doing NPTEL for a very long time, and NPTEL office, the administration just doesn't entertain anyone who fails to submit their assignments on time. You have to do that. Krupa, post-graduation in literature, I would like to take up research. Shall I directly work for my PhD or it is up to you. See, how much time do you have? If you think that you're still young and MPhil will just help you build your foundation, make the foundation stronger, go for your MPhil. MPhil, it's a degree, right? And no education is ever a waste. So whatever diploma or a degree you get, it is always useful in some way or the other. Doesn't matter. People come to us straight for PhDs without any MPhil. That is also one way of doing. So it depends from person to person. It varies from person to person how they want to go. If you have time, you want to invest 1.5 years of your life in MPhil, go for it. But MPhil is not mandatory anymore for pursuing PhD. Those are, those were, I think that was a trend in the 90s or even earlier, that you had to have an MPhil to get admitted in a PhD program. I don't think that is required anymore. In our department, we have students without an MPhil, I think. But net JRF is net/JRF is mandatory. And if you want to know how to enter our department for PhD program, you'll have to look up at the entrance criteria, eligibility criteria, and the guidelines. And no, I really don't have any idea. This TGT, I think you're talking about the teacher training program. I think that's another area by itself. So TGT, PGT, I think it's a very different set of qualification than what we are talking about. There's this question about the dark lady in Shakespeare. It is speculative. You see, fair youth in the sonnets and dark lady in Shakespeare. There are too many speculations about the existence and the identity of the dark lady. Okay, so it could be anyone. Like most of my advice is always when doing Shakespeare is that Shakespeare himself didn't want to give too much of himself away in his plays. Okay, they're hardly, apart from, the rumors are that Tempest is partly based on Shakespeare's own life. Fine. Okay, but even if you don't know anything about Shakespeare's personal life, it wouldn't take away anything from reading Shakespeare, reading or understanding of Shakespeare. You need not know the personal and biographical details of Shakespeare in order to understand who were the characters. Likewise, I would advise that instead of agonizing too much about the identity of the fair youth and the dark lady, focus on the language, because nobody is going to ask you this kind of question, that who was the dark lady. This is such kinds of speculative questions are not even encouraged. Okay, we can talk about, that it is an added information that you will have if you know who exactly was. But then in spite of all your research, you will never be able to understand, or you will never be able to really pinpoint who really is the dark lady. So really don't know and cannot answer that question. Okay, so nice meeting you guys. We will have another meeting in sometime in mid-March. And in the meantime, please keep submitting your assignments, and please be very keep adhere to the timeline and the deadlines. And your assignments will all be in MCQ format, and so will be your NSEM exam in a MCQ format. Okay, so that's the takeaway for today, and looking forward to see you next month sometime. We will announce the date. Thanks a lot for joining. Bye-bye.